Hey guys, this week we're going to take a look at the Timmy Overdrive from MXR and see how this stacks up against the version of the Timmy that's in the Line 6 Helix. The Timmy is a boutique overdrive pedal made by Paul Cochrane. The original ones are very hard to come by. They do occasionally come up online. He still makes them, but they do tend to sell out pretty quick, and the resale value on them can be quite high. In early 2020, MXR released a version of the Timmy designed with Paul Cochrane himself in this really nice small little blue case. I did a full review on this recently on the channel, so if you haven't checked that out, please go do so. But today we're going to compare this with the version that's in the Line 6 Helix and see which one sounds better. Before we hear how this sounds, please scroll down right now and hit that subscribe button. Your subscriptions really help me grow this channel. And while you're down there, please hit the like button and leave a comment. Get involved in the discussion and let me know what you think of what you're hearing. So before we plug this in and see how it stacks up against the Helix version, we need to pick a guitar to use. The Timmy is a real versatile overdrive. It can do everything from a low gain bite right up to quite a heavy rock tone. So we're going to need something quite versatile. So I think what I'm going to pick is this, my 2020 Epiphone Les Paul Classic in this lovely warm purple color. It has twin humbuckers which are both coil tappable, so we can get some humbucker and some single coil tones out of this thing. So as we go through the video, we're going to be flipping between the MXR Timmy and the Line 6 Helix version of the Timmy. I'm going to be setting the controls on both the Line 6 version and this version the same, so you can do a direct comparison between the two units. The main things to note about the Timmy is it's quite simple in its layout. It's got 4 control knobs and a 3-way toggle switch. The toggle switch selects different clipping options, which increases or decreases the headroom of the pedal and the way it clips. It's got a volume and a gain knob, which are fairly self-explanatory. But what's really interesting is the bass and treble knobs aren't actually to add bass and treble, they're to actually cut it. So if I was to leave the bass and the treble knob of this pedal on 10, then you'd be hearing the natural sound of the guitar straight through the pedal. You actually use this EQ by dialing these knobs back to cut those frequencies. So it's a very interesting pedal for tweaking. As we go through the tones, we're going to look at humbucker tones, but I'm also going to coil split these so you can hear how it sounds with single coils too. Coffee is essential for all guitar videos. All the amp tones you hear are also coming directly from the Helix. I'm using the litigator model with the Ganymede reverb. So here's my clean tone. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is set everything equal. So everything on the pedal is set straight up at 12 o'clock and everything on the Helix is set straight at halfway. The only thing that's going to look slightly different is the labeling of the clipping switch. On the MXR Timmy, the switch is orientated horizontally and the switch is in the left position. On the actual Timmy, the switch is vertically orientated, so you can put it up, in the middle, or down. So the Helix reflects up, middle, or down, but that's the same as left, middle, and right. So the up position on the Timmy or the Helix is the same as the left position on the MXR Timmy. So here is the pedal version. And here is the version on the Helix. The first thing you notice is the Helix version is a lot louder. So to compensate, I'm going to bump the level up just a touch on the Timmy version. All right, so next up, we're going to put the bass and the treble all the way up full. So this is the uncut version of the EQ, and we're going to play with the same settings. So here's the pedal first of all. So to get the same effect on the Helix version, I have to take the bass cut and the treble cut all the way down. The pedal itself works with the knobs being on full for being completely open, but the Helix is the reverse. So as you turn the control up, you apply that cut. So the bass and treble cut are all the way to the bottom here. So here's the Helix version. think we should dial in a couple of low gain tones now. So I'm going to push the gain back to about 1/4 of the way up and keep the volume about where it is. Now I've coil tapped both pickups and I've got it in the middle position, so we've got both pickups on at the same time, but both are split to single coils. Here's the MXR Timmy first. And on the Helix version, I'm also going to pull the gain down to about 1/4 of the way up. Push that gain back up to halfway on the pedal. Here's the bridge pickup, coil tapped. And if we put the gain back up to halfway on the Helix, here is the same thing. Alright, so let's put the clipping switch now in the middle position and we'll dial in a nice medium gain tone. So the gain is being pushed back to just below halfway. And I'm going to roll off the treble and the bass just slightly here. So take those back to about there. If we apply the same treatment to the Helix version, so I'm going to take the bass cut and the treble cut both off 1/4 of the way, flip to the middle clipping position, and the gain is going to be dialed back to about here. Now we're going to go to the final clipping position on the pedal. I'm going to apply the same treatment to the Helix version, so the gain is still quite low. The bass cut and the treble cut are unmoved and the volume is the same, but we've now flipped the clipping to the down position. Right, so this is a different guitar now. I just broke a string, so time for a guitar change. This doesn't have coil taps, but I'll do a couple of run-throughs at the end with a single coil guitar as well. So back on track, third position clipping switch, here we go. Right, so now let's hear it on full gain. So we're going to turn the gain all the way up, go back to the first position. Here is all 3 positions of the pedal on full gain. Position 1. Position 2. And position 3. Now let's see how the Helix reacts. So back to the up clipping position and the gain on full. Clipping position 2. And finally clipping position number 3. You know, that almost verges on fuzz when you really push that. So that's pretty cool. A lot of good useful sounds in there. Very, very versatile pedal. I think we should probably do some single coil sounds now. All right, so seeing as my Les Paul with coil splits let me down on the string breakage, I'm going for my Shergold Masquerader here. This is a great triple single coil guitar, so we should get some pretty cool single coil sounds out of this. So first of all, let's actually go straight in where we left off. Let's see how the pedal sounds full gain, third clipping position with single coil pickups. And just for good measure, let's put the Helix version back on. So even with single coils, it still verges on fuzz. Where I think it really shines with single coils is in the middle clipping position with a low gain. So I'm going to put the gain on about halfway, and I'm just going to dial back the treble and bass cuts a little further. This sort of tone is great for blues, especially when you pair it with a neck single coil. If we apply the same settings to the Helix, we're going to dial the gain back to about halfway, and we're going to push the bass cut and the treble cut up just a little more. Let's go up to about 4. If we actually dial the treble and the bass cuts all the way back, it actually cleans up the tone quite a bit. And if we apply those same settings to the Helix, here's what we get. Alright, now let's put that final clipping stage through its paces once more. So I'm going to flip back to the third position, push the gain 3/4 of the way up. Now let's put those same settings into the Helix, so the gain 3/4 of the way up, and we're going back to that third clipping stage. So there you go, there's a bunch of tones to compare. We've got the MXR Timmy and the Line 6 Helix Timmy. Which one did you think sounded better? Personally, I like both. I think they both react great with humbuckers and single coils, and I think they're both incredibly versatile overdrives that you can do a lot with. There's a lot of similarities between the Helix version and the MXR version. I don't have an original Timmy to compare, but I have it on good authority that the MXR version is pretty close to the real deal. If I did have to pick a winner between the two, I would definitely pick the MXR version. I think with the real analog drive pedal, there's just a little bit more of a feel thing there. It's quite hard to actually hear the difference. They do both sound very similar. The Helix version actually sounds a little more compressed to my ears, and the MXR one sounds a little more open, but I definitely think it's more of a feel thing. I think when you play a real analog drive pedal, there's just a way that the guitar interacts with the pedal that can't really be created perfectly with a digital simulation. But that's just what I thought. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Which one did you prefer? If you have both, which one do you prefer in your own setup? Do you prefer the Helix version or the real deal? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Your subscriptions really help this channel to grow, so please get involved and please be a part of this journey. We're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to do a lot more fun videos like this. So please go and hit that button, check out some of the other videos on the channel and get involved in the comments. Like I said, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy the video. Please share it with your friends on social media if you did. And I will see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.